Eureka, California. The name itself whispers of discovery, of finding something wonderful. And at first glance, it delivers. Giant redwood trees stand like ancient sentinels, guarding a rugged, breathtaking coastline where the Pacific Ocean crashes with dramatic flair. You can smell the salt in the air, feel the cool mist on your skin. It's a postcard, a dream of Northern California's wild beauty. This is a place where nature's grandeur is undeniable, a source of pride and a draw for those seeking escape and inspiration. Many come here to lose themselves in the trails, to marvel at the Victorian architecture of Old Town, a charming reminder of a prosperous past. But look closer, peer beyond the scenic vistas, into the alleyways under the overpasses and along the less traveled streets. Here another reality unfolds, a stark contrast to the natural splendor. Tents huddle together, offering meager shelter against the coastal damp. People push shopping carts filled with all their worldly possessions. You see faces etched with hardship, eyes that have seen too much. This isn't a hidden problem, tucked away from sight. It's present, a daily reminder of a crisis that touches every corner of this community. It's a reality that many try to ignore, but it's impossible to truly unsee once you've acknowledged it. The presence of individuals experiencing homelessness in such a beautiful setting can be jarring. For tourists, it might be an unexpected and uncomfortable sight. For residents, it's become an increasingly familiar part of the landscape, though familiarity doesn't always translate to understanding or acceptance. The issue isn't new to Eureka, but like many places across the nation, it has grown in scale and visibility in recent years. The reasons are complex, interwoven with economic shifts, housing shortages, and personal struggles. What was once a concern is now widely recognized as a genuine crisis demanding attention and action. How does a city, so blessed with natural wealth and a strong sense of local identity, grapple with such profound human need? This is the question that hangs in the salty air. It challenges the very image Eureka projects to the world, and more importantly, to itself. To understand the depth of this issue, we must move beyond the surface, beyond the statistics, and try to see the individuals caught in this difficult circumstance. We need to explore the stories behind the crisis, the factors that lead a person to lose the most basic human need, a place to call home. The numbers paint a stark picture. According to the 2023 Humboldt County point-in-time count, which includes Eureka, hundreds of individuals were identified as experiencing homelessness on any given night. While specific numbers fluctuate, the trend has been alarming. For a city of Eureka's size, roughly 27,000 people, the per capita rate of homelessness is significantly higher than in many larger metropolitan areas in California. This isn't just a big city problem, it's deeply affecting smaller communities too, stretching their resources and challenging their social fabric. These figures represent real people, not just abstract data points. When you compare Eureka to other places, the intensity of the crisis becomes even clearer. California itself has a massive homelessness problem, but the concentration in smaller, more rural areas like Humboldt County presents unique challenges. There are often fewer resources, less infrastructure, and a smaller tax base to fund solutions. While a large city might have numerous shelters and service providers, a smaller community like Eureka might have only a handful. This means the existing services are often overwhelmed, struggling to meet the immense and growing demand for assistance. The problem feels more visible, more concentrated here. It's also crucial to remember that these official counts, as vital as they are, often underestimate the true scale of homelessness. The point-in-time count captures those who are visible, in shelters, encampments, or on the streets. But what about the hidden homeless? These are individuals and families doubling or tripling up with others, sleeping in cars or couch surfing. They live in a constant state of housing insecurity, just one step away from the streets, yet they often don't appear in the official statistics. This makes the problem even larger and more pervasive than the numbers suggest. The impact of these numbers extends far beyond the individuals directly affected. It places a significant strain on local resources. Emergency rooms see more visits for issues exacerbated by living outdoors. Law enforcement and emergency services spend considerable time responding to calls related to homelessness. Local businesses sometimes voice concerns about the impact on their operations. The entire community feels the weight of this crisis, whether through increased demand on social services, concerns about public health and safety, or simply the moral distress of seeing fellow community members without shelter. It's a complex web of interconnected challenges. Who are the people experiencing homelessness in Eureka? The faces are diverse, defying easy stereotypes. Among them are seniors, men and women who have worked their whole lives, perhaps contributing to this very community for decades. Now, on fixed incomes like Social Security, they find themselves unable to keep up with skyrocketing rents and the rising cost of living. A sudden medical bill, the loss of a spouse, or a rent increase can be all it takes to push them over the edge, out of their homes and onto the streets, a truly heartbreaking reality for those in their supposed golden years. We also see young people, some barely adults, navigating this crisis. This includes youth who have aged out of the foster care system, suddenly left without support or guidance. LGBTQ+ youth, tragically, are also overrepresented, sometimes facing family rejection and finding themselves with nowhere safe to go. These young individuals are particularly vulnerable, lacking the life experience and resources to secure stable housing and employment. Their potential is immense, but it's being stifled by the daily struggle for survival, for a safe place to sleep, for their next meal. Families with children are also caught in this devastating cycle. Imagine a parent trying to provide stability for their children without a stable home. They face impossible choices daily: pay the rent or buy food, keep the lights on or afford childcare so they can work. The instability and trauma of homelessness can have profound and lasting impacts on a child's development, affecting their education, their health, and their sense of security. Shelters, when available, often have strict rules or may not be able to accommodate entire families, sometimes leading to heartbreaking separations. Furthermore, many individuals experiencing homelessness are grappling with significant health challenges. This includes veterans, who may be dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, physical disabilities, or the challenges of reintegrating into civilian life. Others struggle with severe mental illness or substance use disorders. These conditions can be both a cause and a consequence of homelessness, creating a vicious cycle that is incredibly difficult to break without comprehensive, compassionate, and consistent support. They need more than just a roof, they need specialized care. The roots of homelessness in Eureka, as in much of California, are deeply entwined with economic realities. The most significant factor is the breathtaking cost of housing. Rents have soared, far outpacing wage growth for many working people. A minimum wage job, or even two, often isn't enough to cover the rent for a modest apartment. Add to this the loss of well-paying blue-collar jobs in traditional industries like logging and fishing, and a lack of sufficient affordable housing units being built, and you have a perfect storm. People are simply priced out of their homes. In response, Eureka has various social programs and dedicated individuals working tirelessly on the front lines. Organizations like the Betty Kwan Chin Day Center provide essential services: showers, laundry, meals, and a place of respite. There are emergency shelters offering temporary beds, and outreach teams that try to connect people on the streets with available resources. These programs are lifelines. They offer dignity and immediate relief to those in desperate need. Their staff and volunteers show incredible compassion and resilience every single day, doing their best with what they have. However, these efforts face significant limitations. Shelters are often full, with long waiting lists. The resources available are frequently insufficient to meet the sheer scale of the need. Building new shelters or affordable housing projects can face not-in-my-backyard opposition, slowing progress. Bureaucracy within government systems can also create hurdles, making it difficult for people to access the help they qualify for in a timely manner. Enforcement-focused approaches like clearing encampments without providing viable alternatives often just displace people and exacerbate their trauma, rather than solving the underlying issues. Ultimately, homelessness is a complex issue with no single simple solution. It demands a multifaceted approach, acknowledging the systemic failures and the individual human stories behind them. The government, at local, state, and federal levels, has a crucial role to play in funding solutions, streamlining access to services, and prioritizing affordable housing development. But the responsibility doesn't end there. What if this was your neighbor, your friend, your family member? Real change begins when the entire community recognizes this as our shared crisis and commits to being part of the solution, fostering a culture of compassion and advocating for systemic change. It starts with caring,